Today we're talking with survivors of tragedy and survivors of grief. With me today are three very brave survivors who are going to show us how they have survived and how we might learn from those who have survived. My first guest is Charles Davis, one of the fathers of one of the children who was burnt to death in one of the fires in this country. His book, dealing with the death of his son, Charred Beyond Recognition, is due to hit shelves this Friday. Let me start by asking Charles, if your son were here with you today, what would you say to him?
I would say, oh my God, I thought you were dead.
Okay. My next guest is Karen Radford, whose daughter Joessica was killed last year, the victim of a pickaxe murderer. Karen is the founder and co-founder of Parents of Pickaxe Murdered Children, or POPAMC, an organization that helps parents of pickaxe murdered children an organization that helps parents of pickaxe murdered children come to terms with their pickaxe murdered children's pickaxe murders. Karen, welcome. Tell us about POPAMC and how it got started, and how does it differ from the other hundreds of thousands of organizations that already deal with murdered children? POPAMC came out of what I felt to be a misunderstanding in the murdered child community. For months after Joessica was killed, I was approached by all sorts of people whose children were also murdered, but none of those children had been murdered by a pickaxe, and I did not feel like I could relate. My child was not strangled with her own underwear. My child was killed by a pickaxe. And that's one thing we make clear in our literature, is there is a difference between a fire axe murder, which just makes long horizontal gashes, and a pickaxe murder, which makes a much more circular, deeper kind of hole. Tell us about the night that Joessica died. I passed out drunk and my boyfriend killed her. Sorry. Yeah, Karen, are there any red flags? How do you know your child is at risk to be murdered by a pickaxe murderer? You have to know what your children are up to. Are they associating with coal miners, for example? Prevention is key. Don't leave any sharp pickaxes in your trailer, especially when your boyfriend's on PCP and thinks your daughter's made out of gold. Karen, thank you for your bravery, your courage, your honesty, and your fortitude. We'll be back after this. Person, my thing is doing that thing again. Why did this have to happen on the night of my event? Don't worry, person, I brought along brand name. Because I'm a person, when something happens to the other person, I'm always prepared with brand name. Studies show brand name contains more ingredient than other brand name and other brand name combined. That's the sort of brand name quality I've come to trust. Person, my thing is not doing that thing anymore. Now I can go to my event. So try brand name. After all, a certain number out of a certain number of people agree brand name is the brand name in brand names.
Brand name for all your brand name needs.